In 1953, Carolyn got her biggest movie role yet, in House of Wax. The high-profile horror film would launch the newest studio weapon in the war against television, 3D.
See the world in wax and improve your mind. See the Chamber of Horrors and scare yourself out of a year's growth.
3D was thought to be an antidote to television. Hollywood was in a gimmick period of big screen, widescreen, CinemaScope, Cinerama, and 3D. And I believe House of Wax was perhaps not the second 3D film shot, but it was the second one released. So this was going to be a very visible property.
Her part was small, but she infused it with her own offbeat humor and brought the character to life.
She plays somebody who is much like what she was in real life, a woman with a sense of humor, with a streetwise attitude to the life and to the world, who is also got a touching kind of vulnerability.
Well, where's your new friend going to take you tonight? The Hoffman House for dinner, and then to Tony Pastor's for the vaudeville show. Is he nice? Oh, awfully nice. A real gentleman, except when he's had a couple of drinks in him.
She gets killed off early on, but she sort of casts a spell through the whole movie.
House of Wax was a hit. Reviewers mentioned Carolyn's name for the first time, and she was even singled out for her performance. Everything was going well, better than even she had expected. Her career was on the rise, and her romance with Aaron Spelling was becoming more serious. They believed they were true soulmates. Aaron wanted more than anything to propose to Carolyn, but he was still waiting for his big break in show business and didn't have a penny to his name. Impatient, Carolyn popped the question herself. They were married in April of 1953. Carolyn had left Amarillo just 6 years earlier, and now she had a promising career and a husband who was just as driven as she was. Her last big screen role had given her a taste of stardom, and now she wanted more. In 1953, Carolyn Jones and Aaron Spelling were both struggling to find work, in film, on television, or on stage. They were broke, but they were having the time of their lives.
I call that the peanut butter years because those were hard times, made fun by their antics. It was a lot of play, full of fun, football games and cards.
Carolyn decided early on that she didn't want to be a mother. She felt she couldn't give children the attention they deserved while remaining focused on her career and on Aaron's. The couple worked together on a production at the Players Theater called The Road to Rome. Carolyn was spotted again, this time by a Columbia Pictures executive named Max Arno. The studio was casting its biggest film of the year, From Here to Eternity. Arno felt Carolyn might be the perfect actress to play Alma, the prostitute with dreams of respectability, so he arranged a screen test. Carolyn wanted the part desperately. She knew it was the big break she had been waiting for, but the night before the test, she got very sick.
I didn't know at the time, Ralph, how really seriously ill Carolyn was. Gee, all I could think of was, boy, honey, you got to test, you got to test it. You know, it's been Carolyn's dream for so long. But we took her temperature, and she had 104 fever, so we took her to the hospital. And that night, she nearly died of pneumonia.
A year later, Donna Reed won an Oscar for the role Carolyn had hoped to play. For the first time, the 24-year-old felt discouraged about her career, afraid her one chance at stardom had passed her by. But she didn't give up. Carolyn loved acting more than anything. She took all the parts she could get, bringing her own offbeat sensibility to each one.
I think there was some neurotic quality that she had, a darker quality, that really directors, casting people knew about and knew she could take something, a smaller role perhaps, and really make it into something real.
One of the parts that I remember how much she loved doing was in Desiree.
What a pleasant surprise, General Bernadette!
She loved the whole thing of being barefoot with rings on her toes.
Flattering, but I see you've already found a companion in Paris.
Yes, by a happy chance. The moment Citizeness Desiree and I saw one another, we fell into each other's arms.
Well, old friend or not, my dear, you're going to have to share it with us. Come along, I want to show you the most fantastic woman.
Carolyn was now getting bigger parts in better films. In 1955, she played the object of one of Tom Ewell's sexual fantasies in the 20th Century Fox comedy, The 7-Year Itch, starring Marilyn Monroe.
Richard.
Miss Finch, please, not again tonight.
We have so little time. Soon they'll be taking out your stitches, and I'll have lost you forever.
Please, Miss Finch. There is such a thing as ethics. Remember, you are a registered nurse.
Ethics. Once I had ethics. Once I was young. Once I had ideals. Once I was registered.
The next year, Carolyn's professional momentum continued with a featured role in the sci-fi shocker Invasion of the Body Snatchers.
She is sort of the audience's perspective on that film. She sees the terrifying pod turning into a human, and you can feel her terror at, that's going to happen to me. This nightmare is going to take over my life, and I'm going to lose my identity.
Carolyn was working steadily, but Aaron was not having as much luck. He really hoped to be a writer, but now he was trying and failing to be an actor.
And one day, you see your husband on a movie, said it was kismet, and he was saying what as a beggar in the scene?
Arms for the love of Allah.
You make a decision, and what ultimatum did you give to Aaron?
I said, either you use your God-given talent as a writer and become a writer and anything else you want to be from there on, or I leave you.
Carolyn, of course, pushed Aaron so much that at the studio, everyone used to joke that they had to hide when they would see Carolyn coming because she always had a script to peddle to someone. And the thing that was most important to her is that Aaron would become successful.
Carolyn pushed relentlessly for her husband's career and for her own. Her persistence paid off. In 1956, TV producer Dick Powell recognized Aaron's talents and hired him as a writer on Zane Grey Theater. At the same time, Carolyn was offered a role that would prove to be a turning point for her. The Bachelor Party was an independent film by the team who had created the Oscar-winning Marty, writer Patty Chayefsky and director Delbert Mann. Don Murray, a young actor with an Academy Award nomination under his belt, would star.
It all took place around the bachelor party of a man that was getting married. And in that bachelor party, you got into the aspirations and the frustrations of all the men at the party.
You know, Charlie, you start messing around with other women, something goes. It'll kill your marriage. And it'll kill your wife. It'll just kill her.
I don't want to see any women tonight. All right, you want to go home? Go on home.
For The Bachelor Party, Carolyn made what would turn out to be one of her greatest career moves.
She dyed her hair for a bachelor party, and she cut her hair very short. And it was a great look for her. And I think that she realized that she probably looked better as a brunette than she did as a blonde.
When she walked into rehearsal with brunette hair, all of a sudden she became very exotic and very, very sexy. And I think that's one of the reasons that she was so good in the role. I remember one line she said, "Just say you love me, you don't have to mean it, just say you love me."
Just say you love me.
What?
Say you love me, you don't have to mean it.
What's the matter?
Say you love me.
Come on.
Say you love me. No.
I love you, I love you.
And I think it's the first time we'd ever seen anything like that on film. And she played it with an absolute, like, deadpan, like she was a person that had no real emotions, that she was almost like a mechanical kind of a character.
Carolyn was only on screen for 8 minutes, but the critics loved her performance. A few months later, she was nominated for an Academy Award for Best Supporting Actress. Suddenly, newspaper columnists were clamoring for an interview with the exciting new star.